Oh, let me see here. Wait a minute, everybody. Here I am. The YouTube now says I'm live. Can you see me now, everybody? I hope. I don't know if you heard the bell or not. As usual, now I'm not having technical problems this morning. I'm having problems with the engineer. He doesn't seem to be on top of the situation at all. So that's par for the course. And this will not be a long program. This will be a short follow-up to the program I did on Sunday. And as you know, on Sunday, I made the astounding prediction that Russia would not invade Ukraine. And this went against all of what the media was saying and what the Biden administration was saying. And everyone assumed that it was a fait accompli. Russia was going to invade Ukraine. And I said, hold it. Wait a minute. No, you people don't understand prophecy. And I pointed out that Dana Coverstone's most recent dream and vision, his Jets 2022 dream, said just the opposite. It said that there would be like a truce between Russia and Ukraine. And of course that was, and I gave the date. I said it would be the 15th of February. And I said that on Sunday. In other words, today. And that came true. And it's not exactly well, it's a scoop on my part, but if you understand prophecy, it's not surprising because both Dana Coverstone and Amanda Freitas predicted that this would happen. As I explained on that, I don't want to go over really everything that I did on that program, although I advise you to watch it because it is very important. It showed that Dana Coverstone's dream and Amanda Freitas' dream are related. In fact, they are the same prophecy together. You have to understand each of them, you have to read the other. And I wanted to first of all start by telling you about the thumbnail for this program. The thumbnail of this program is an indication of why Russia did not invade Ukraine. And this is the thumbnail. This is a Russian icon of the Blessed Virgin Mary. And if you read on Russian homes, every Russian home has an icon of either Jesus or Mary or the Holy Family. They are a very religious people. That's why we don't know what we are up against. They have gone a long ways towards defeating communism. They're not there yet, but I think that by the end of the summer, they will be, which is very bad news for the United States, because at that time, we will be deserving of a chastisement. So let me just review quickly what the media was telling everybody Sunday. This was just a couple of days ago. This is what they said. This was the Drudge Report, and I showed you this before. Ukraine invasion imminent. Russia, USA pull diplomats. Biden calls Putin oil spikes. Now, you have to admit, I went against the tide when I told you that was not going to happen, as I told you on Sunday. This is what, I think this was the Washington, I showed you these before, but it's so telling, I think it's worth a repeat. Russians have already started hybrid war with bomb threats, cyber attacks, Ukraine says. Moscow is using cyber attacks, economic pressure, and most recently false bomb threats to undermine its neighbor, Kiev says. In fact, Biden said that Russia was going to use a false flag. They were hoping they could drum up a war. And I think the reason is because they wanted to have a distraction from what Brandon is doing along our border. They wanted to say that we had to go in and protect Ukraine's border. Of course, that claim rings false because they don't protect our own border. And here was the third one I showed you on Sunday. Russia reportedly makes decision on Ukraine invasion. The U.S. believes Russian President Vladimir Putin has decided to invade Ukraine and has communicated that decision to the Russian military, according to the PBS NewsHour. So when did the PBS NewsHour ever give you any facts or any truth? Of course, the answer is never. And I had people in my own group, among you people out there, who question if I should really go that far out on a limb and tell you that Russia was not going to invade Ukraine. But this morning, here's the new headline. This is Drudge Report now. Well, this was later. This was not too long ago. De-escalation. Russia pulls troops. Moscow ready for talks. Putin plays peacemaker. What a turnaround. Did anybody else in the entire planet predict that was going to happen? I don't think so. Now, why did that prophecy come true? I will tell you in a minute why that came true, and it's not a pretty picture. Now I want to tell you this was the Dateline this morning in the news. Kremlin officials seized upon the troop withdrawal as proof of a propaganda victory against the United States and NATO. Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova said, 15 February 2022 will go down in history as the day Western propaganda failed, she wrote, adding that the West had been shamed and destroyed without firing a single shot. The date, February 15th, is going to go down for another reason, and that's because Dana Coverstone's prophecy was fulfilled today. The White House's National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, had breathlessly told CNN on Sunday that intelligence suggested major military action could begin any day now. So it would have been easy for me to sit back and not stick my neck out, but I had confidence in my ability, and I had confidence in Dana Coverstone. I had people who told me on my video that I should not interpret Dana Coverstone, that he was a false prophet. I would say it's pretty accurate to give the date that Russia would not be invading Ukraine, 2/15. And I give myself credit. So why do I give myself credit? Because Dana Coverstone did not have a clue of the importance of that number, 2:15. He saw it on the clock, remember? 2:15. That's when he received his vision. And I told you that referred to February 15th, today, in other words. And the significance is that 2 represents mankind in the Bible, a man and a woman. 15 represents Mary's Rosary, 555. And we see throughout the Bible that 555 defeats 666. In fact, that's why I do this program at 6:15 Eastern Time. 6 is a number for the Antichrist. And it is followed by 15, or 555. And 2:15 is actually the same number. 2, as I say, represents mankind. That's because man was created on the second day of creation, or the 6th full day of creation. 6 and 2 are very often interchangeable. In fact, 666 is the number of a man. Okay, so I want to quickly review Dana's dream and Amanda's dream and show you how they're related. Now, I went over this Sunday in depth, but I want to review it. And the sequence in both Amanda's dream and Dana's dream, you have to give the third event first, and then the first event, and then the second event. Of course, that's my job, is to decode the, what's the first word? I always get this wrong. You have to, see, I'm getting nervous here, and I shouldn't. I should play some music or something. Anyway, let's go over this. It'll come to me. It's my job to decode it as the co-prophet. Let's put it that way. Okay, so here we have, over here, let me get my fingers out of the way, Dana's vision. And I'm sorry, this is not a quality visual. I did this at the last minute. Dana's vision comes first. And that was with the 500-foot wall. Oh, let me see, I've got this on here. This engineer, I got to fire him. Okay, now I've got it so you can read it. Here's Dana's vision over here. That came first. In that vision, he saw a great wall between Russia and Ukraine. It was 500. The lights on it were 500 feet high. The turrets were 50 feet high. And he said it was brighter, 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 brighter. 5 times he said it was bright. That is the number 555, 555. That indicates that the wall represented Mary's rosary. And he said the vision came to him at 2:15 in the morning. Now, Dana did not understand the significance of that, and I did. I understood it right away. He thought, well, the reason I know he did not understand the significance of that is because he uploaded that video a second time. Satan did not want his message to get out. By the way, is the sound doing okay? Nobody said that it's bad. Okay. Satan did not want the message to get out, so he messed up with the audio on his first program. And instead of rectifying it, which he could have done, and Satan did the same thing with my video on Sunday, he took his first video down. And he took out, when he did it the second time, he left out all of the important numerology. He left out the 215. He left out his own amazing prophecy. He also left out the height of the lights on the wall, which was 500 feet. The turrets, 50 feet. He left all that out. That's significance, of course, is the rosary. So following the vision comes the March part of the dream, and that's when the sky turned gray. And then the September part of the dream is when the sky turned black. Now, these are related exactly, correspond to Amanda's dream. Let me get my finger right. The third bear comes first, and that is where Amanda goes into the shed and knocks over the bear with just the tip of her finger, and he falls over immediately. That was verification that the bear was not going to invade Ukraine. The bear had an evil face on, remember? It was not the Russian. It was not an expression of Russia as a Christian nation giving honor to Mary. It had an evil face on it. Communism, in other words. But that was defeated by Amanda just touching the bear. And Amanda said that the Lord told her that she represented the praying church. Not the church, the praying church. Okay, after the third bear comes the first bear, which is the bear that was invading her house, remember? And then the third bear, which was the most serious of all. And that's what comes in September. And that's when the bear had 3 ribs in its mouth. And that's what we have to be concerned with. So Mary shows us that she has the power to defeat evil, which she did by stopping the evil bear from invading Ukraine today. And it was predictable. Dana Coverstone, she predicted it. So the Lord fulfilled that prophecy perfectly, 2:15 today. Why did he do that? Because it's to show that the rest of the prophecy will also come true. And that's what we have to be concerned with. The rest of the prophecy is that we will be given 5 months. That's rosary number. It's also 153 days. That's rosary number. Between April and August. We have those 5 months to repent, to accept Mary's rosary, to start praying her rosary. We can save ourselves. I mean, we are going to save ourselves, just as the family did it in Hiroshima. They were 6 blocks from ground zero. They saved themselves by praying the rosary. We can do the same. In other words, we will be in the shed. That was where Amanda was safe, remember? The shed represented her refuge. So all you people who scoff at this and you don't pray the rosary, well, you will suffer the consequences of September with the black sky. And all of this is going to come true, and the Lord has showed you it's going to come true by verifying the first prophecy fulfilled today, as I say. Now, on that video Sunday, I showed you Sister Renee's amazing photograph, and that was the crucifix she saw over her house. This was Super Bowl Sunday last week. There's the cross. And I've showed you a gazillion times, according to Sandra Levini. By the way, I think, do we have a monitor? I guess we do. Oh, yeah, I think Sam is going to monitor. Okay. Just in case we get a troll. And at the foot of the cross, there is the naked harlot. This was a warning to America, because America is the harlot in the book of Revelation. And the prophecy in Sister Renee's photograph is that America is not going to repent until she's burned with fire in 1 hour. Dana Coverstone says we have 5 months to prevent that from happening. Now, do you know who was originally going to prevent it from happening? Donald Trump was going to prevent it from happening. Let me see where I can... I don't have a picture for that. Donald Trump is prophesied in Isaiah 45 and Micah 5 to save the United States. That was the prophecy. That was in the Bible. In fact, there were many, many prophets here on YouTube, like Mark Taylor, many, many others that understood. Some of them are still claiming that Donald Trump will come back and save America. But I told you what happened. And by the way, Isaiah 45 and Micah 5, that's the same situation that we have with Dana's dream and Amanda's dream. Two different prophecies that meld together. And I did a video on that. Isaiah 45 and Micah 5. You have to read those two prophecies together. It's amazing how they correspond to each other. But I told you, I think this was, well, I know it was. It was right after Donald Trump gave his first State of the Union address. And that was the Trump train was derailed. And I showed you this. And I warned you at the time. I said, this is bad news, people. This was the Trump train. And how do we know this was the Trump train? Because of the number of the train. Isaiah 45, the train got smashed. And this train was smashed with all Republicans on board. They were going to their annual retreat. This was right after the State of the Union address. In that State of the Union address, Donald Trump listed all of his accomplishments, all of his campaign promises that he had fulfilled, lowering taxes, lowering unemployment, building the wall, everything that he promised, except for one thing. There was one promise he could not fulfill. Do you know what that was? That was the defunding of Planned Parenthood. He had a Republican Senate, a Republican House, and a Republican president. And they could not defund Planned Parenthood. Therefore, Donald Trump will not save America. He does have an interesting job, however. And I've got these pictures here to show you. He is going to save the church. And I've talked about this many times. Donald Trump will convert, and he will bring many Protestants with him, and they will become Catholic. And he is prophesied to save the church. Now, I'll show you someone who is not going to save the church, and that's Phony Francis. Here is Phony Francis worshiping the Pachamama idol. That's who Francis worships, and the bishops. But Donald Trump saving the church was prophesied, and I've showed all of you this before. I know I'm going over some of the prophecies we've had before, but they're fascinating. And this was the lightning strike on the Vatican. Remember that? This occurred the day Pope Benedict resigned. And the Lord told us in this lightning strike who would save the church, not Francis. You see that profile? That's a profile of Donald Trump looking up to the sky. Let's see, which way is he looking? He's looking up to our right. And as Sister Renee pointed out, looking the other way, is a picture of Charlton Heston as Moses. In other words, Donald Trump is prophesied to part the Red Sea for the church. There is the lightning strike with the two images of Donald Trump on one side looking up, and Moses as Charlton Heston looking up also. And thanks to Paula, she's the one who drew this up for me. All right, so where do I go next from here? I covered what Donald Trump is going to do. So now I also showed you on Sunday the Jacinta 1972 picture. Because this was given at Bayside. And this shows what will happen to America. See the map of America here. And I showed you that Sister Renee received her photograph on February, this was Super Bowl last year, February 7th, 9 a.m. in the morning, the day, the month, the month, the day, the hour, and the year, 2021. And I showed you that this also, in fact, this is the more important prophecy of what is going to happen to America. The chastisement will come the day, the month, and the hour that are given in this photograph, and that would be the day, would be the 1st of September, 7 a.m. in the morning, 2022. So that's the worst, most frightening part of Dana's prophecy, and that is what happens in September when the sky turns black and the jets fly straight up, indicating an attack on the United States, a chastisement. And that's what this photograph is showing us. Now, Donald Trump is telling us through numerology how to save America, and that is through Mary's Rosary. That's why we've been given 5 months of clear skies, April to August, and one of my subscribers, Phil, pointed that out. The 153 days, that's Rosary number. It's through Mary's Rosary that we can save America. Now, I did not get into Sunday the person in this picture, and that's here. This is an outline of Bishop Wilton Gregory, who is the Bishop of Washington, D.C. He has to be convinced to get on board. That's going to be very difficult to do. I don't think he will. He's got 5 months to convert also. And now here's how you can tell that that's Bishop Wilton Gregory, and Paula also pointed this out to me. There's the outline from the Jacinta photograph. And there's Bishop Wilton Gregory being influenced by Satan whispering in his ear. So now I want to talk about Kim Clement, and he tells us how to save America. And he says the same thing that Dana Coverstone and Amanda is saying, and that is through Mary's intercession. Kim Clement received an amazing prophecy on March the 25th, 2011, the feast of the Annunciation. He did not understand this any more than Amanda or Dana understand the prophecy, which is par for the course. I mean, it's not a put down. This is how the Holy Spirit works. The Holy Spirit works through two people, as I've been mentioning on here for 13 years now. The answer, according to Kim Clement, is Esther. And he describes Esther. Esther is obviously the Blessed Virgin Mary. He describes her as a beautiful woman with large eyes, round eyes. And he has the entire congregation shout out, "Yes to Esther," at the end of his exposition of the vision. And they do. They shout out, "Yes to Esther, yes to Esther," 15 times. Of course, we know what 15 is. The same number in Dana's prophecy, 215 today. And 15 is Mary's number. We know that from the book of Genesis. Genesis 3:15. 3 is a rosary number. The 3 original mysteries of the rosary. 15 is the number of decades. All of this is very important. It's under hidden symbolism. I know a lot of you say, well, if it's under hidden symbolism, it's not important. Well, I want to tell you what Jesus said. When the disciples asked him, they said, "Lord, why don't you make this clear for everybody?" And he said, "Not everyone is going to be saved." That's why. You have to understand symbolism. You have to understand the sacred numerology in all of these prophecies. So who is going to save America? Well, I want to show you who I believe is the woman that Kim Clement was prophesying about. This is Our Lady of the Americas. I believe this is the beautiful woman with large, round eyes. I believe that she can save America. I don't think she will, because Bishop Gregory is involved in this. So here's what has to happen. And that's why Bishop Gregory, I believe, is on that Jacinta photograph. So I'm going to read this. This is from the website for the Virgin, what is it, of the Americas? Our Lady of the Americas. And I think she appeared in, I think it was Indiana, the city of Rome, to Sister Neusel, I think her name was. Here's what, and this is directly from that website. The Blessed Virgin Mary has promised that her statue as Our Lady of America, that's this here, once placed in the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception, could be a safeguard for our country, or would be a safeguard for our country. And her picture of statue honored in all homes, a safeguard for the family. She also promised that the medal would be a safeguard against evil for those who wear it with great faith and devotion. I don't have one of these medals. I've got to get that. So I believe this statue has been moved very close to the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception. The local bishop has done his part by denying it. It's got to be almost impossible for Bishop Gregory. Given his outlook anyway, he's already come out strongly against Donald Trump. He's a big supporter of phony Francis. It's almost impossible, in my mind, to save America, because this is what has to happen. As Kim Clement says, America must say yes to Esther. I believe this is an image of Esther. The statue has to be moved. It's only a few blocks away, as I understand it, a few blocks away from the cathedral. Bishop Wilton Gregory would have to okay moving it to the he's not going to do that unless he has a change of heart. Of course, the third thing is that we have to save ourselves. The Pope is not going to save the world. They've already demonstrated they're not going to do that. They had the power to. I don't think Gregory is going to save this country. He has the power to. We have to save ourselves. And we save ourselves the same way. We have to find a refuge. We have to pray the Rosary. We have to flee to our refuges on the two wings of an eagle. The two wings of an eagle are Mary's Rosary and Scapular. We can save ourselves. And that's our only option left, in my opinion. We can pray and hope that the Pope consecrates Russia. I don't think that's going to happen. We can pray that Bishop Wilton Gregory allows that statue to be moved to the cathedral. I don't think he's going to do that. But if we want to go to the shed in Amanda's dream, Amanda said that she represents the church, the Remnant church, the praying church, she called it. We can be saved by going to the shed. It's the same refuge that Heidi Bagley describes in her dream. And I've gone over that before. Heidi means full of grace, by the way. And the refuge that she spoke about was a reference to the refuge as described in the book of Revelation. And that is where the earth opens up and swallows the flood spewed out by the serpent after the woman. Okay, I think that is the end of the program, so I did make it pretty short this afternoon. If any of you would have any comments on what happened today, the fulfillment of Dana Coverstone's prophecy, the number 215, the significance of it, the fact that I told you ahead of time what was going to happen, and nobody else on the planet told you ahead of time. Are people watching that video? Nah, maybe 500 or so. But that doesn't matter, because Mary's also going to let us save ourselves. So all of you other people who poo-poo Dana Coverstone or who poo-poo my interpretation, I'm just telling you, the rest of us are going to be saved and you're going to be out in the cold. All right, let's take a look and see what everyone would like to talk about. And I have time here. I don't want to interfere with Sam Fisher's live stream rosary. He will be doing a rosary tonight at 8. I would advise everyone to pray along with him. And if you don't like praying along with somebody, I mean, that's understandable. A lot of people, Sister Renee prefers to pray alone. That's fine. You should pray all 4 mysteries every day. We can save ourselves. And that's why I'm here, is to urge people. It's probably only a tiny remnant that's going to be saved, because these other prophecies are not going to be fulfilled. The country's not going to save itself, I don't think. I don't mean to be negative about it. We've got 5 months. We've got 153 days, according to Dana Coverstone. Oh, that reminds me. Dana Coverstone has another dream, which I will be doing in a couple of days, which he calls Rockwell. It's about Norman Rockwell's painting that he made of Thanksgiving. Tennis hand and eye coordination is here. And is that a guy or a girl like there? I can't tell by looking at your thumbnail. Our Lady is so powerful. Pray the Rosary for peace. Yes. The prophecy showed us how powerful Mary is. Dana's, and he's an evangelical pastor. And the Lord gave us the message through him that Mary was going to bring peace between Russia and Ukraine. And he told us what day that would come about. Today. 2:15. I mean, that's an amazing prophecy. Nobody else is mentioning it, by the way. Then don't go to places like Spirit Daily. What a phony bunch they are over there. They said, well, Putin... what they said? Oh, Putin blinked. You idiots. Putin did not blink. Here's what saved us. What saved Ukraine, and that was that. Where's my picture? I love that picture. And the Russian icon. There's so many beautiful Russian icons. But as I say, we've got our own statues. Are we going to give our statues the honor that the Russians do? There's our own statue. The Russians honor Mary. We better learn to do the same thing. Any good general will tell you that it is right that makes might. I get tired of haranguing people all the time. Let's have some fun here. Read what everybody says. Mike Harrington gives us 3 praying hands. That's good. J.M.J. is praying for the fulfillment of Genesis 3:15. Genesis 3:15 is not a proto-evangelion, by the way. It is a proto-apocalypse. Nobody understands that, but it is. Indiana says, hello, William. So glad to be able to join you guys on a live broadcast. I was so sorry to hear that Glenn Flavin passed away. I met him at the last WFRN pilgrimage. He seemed to be a kind person. Yes, he gave that impression to everybody, Indy. And I know if we happen to have a pilgrimage this year, I'm gonna miss him, because he was a big help last year. Rita says, I didn't know you were doing a live stream, William. I saw this by accident. Well, I mentioned it this morning. Were you here this morning, Rita? I didn't take attendance. Maybe I should start taking attendance. Indiana says, may Glenn rest in peace and intercede for the WFRN. Well, that's a good idea. You know, I think he followed the WFRN. He prayed with us. He quite often commented on Sam's program. Adam and Nancy K are here. Snowland says, thank you, JMJ. I got the letter today. Snowland, are you talking about the donation for your father's funeral? Because I'd like to know if you got that. Because JMJ did give you a very generous donation, and I sent it out Saturday, I think, or Friday. Sam says the Trollminator is here. Very good, Sam. I don't think you had any trollminating to do. Jerry G says, looking forward to this presentation. And he says, good evening, Trollminator. Uncle Jalapeno is here. JMJ says, you're most welcome, Snowland. We, Remnant the Rock, will strike the statue upon the feet thereof, that were of iron and clay, and we broke them to pieces. That's our job, and we will do it. We will supplant the Roman Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church is the mountain from which the stone is cut. The stone is cut without hands. That means that Jesus is doing the carving. And we, the remnant, the stone cut out from the mountain, we are the Remnant Catholic Church, formed without hands, and we will smash the feet of iron and clay. The iron symbolizes the one world government. The clay is actually tin. It symbolizes the one world religion. And we will defeat it with, of course, Mary's help. We have the weapon. The weapon is Mary's Rosary. As I've said, I get tired of saying it on here. By the way, did you see the Remnant Matt's program? Matt, what's his name? Anyway, Matt, that's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, the Remnant, he said he got a strike. No, got a strike. He was banned from YouTube. Oh, they took down his video. And he said they took it down before it was published. What did they tell him? They said it was, it didn't follow WHO guidelines or something. I don't know. Anyway, but he's on another, just like Sam. Sam went over to D-Live tonight. If you want to pray with him, he's on D-Live. Where are we here? Indiana, Jerry G, JMJ. JMJ said, Jerry, just wanted to let you know that Father James Barron's mother just passed away. Roses for BVM, Indiana, Rita Esslinger. Carolyn Couch, hearing me loud and clear. Okay, I guess the sound worked out okay today. Diane Thornton says, good evening. Jerry G, sorry to hear about Glenn. I think that's what you're saying. May Sampson says, great job. Thanks, May. Carolyn says, some outlets are saying Russia is not backing away. No. They're trying to save face. That's what they are. Indiana says, I've heard the same. Tony says there's word they could do that in March. That's when they will invade. Well, I don't believe so. I believe that wall, the 555 wall, that's too strong. Oh, okay. Sayaku says, got the letter. Oh, okay. Thanks, Sayaku. Thanks you so much to all who donated. It means a lot to each one. May God multiply everyone. Okay. Yes, we did. And I have one more donation to give to you. And tomorrow I'm going to close it off. And if you want to donate to help out Snowland and Sayaku's funeral expenses for their father, please do so before tomorrow. And then I will add it all up together and give her a final donation. JMJ says, no full-scale attack. Jesus said rumors of war. Well, that's true. Rumors of war. That's what we had. All kinds of rumors of war. JMJ says that Russia is helping Ukraine. I would not be surprised at that. Roy Lion says, all fake news. We have extra time to put things in order. Well, sure, the news is fake. JJQ Lar says, hello. JMJ says, it's Biden picking a fight with Russia. Well, I understand their strategy. They are trying to provoke war with Russia. In fact, that's in Daniel. The king of the south provokes the king of the north. And I did many videos on that. And they want to do that. They want Russia to use up her war machine, just like the United States wasted ours in the Gulf Wars and in Afghanistan, left behind billions of dollars worth of war material. That was all planned. That was all planned to weaken America. And so Biden and the administration, they said, well, let's get Russia in a war so we can weaken them and they can use up their war material. But Putin was not having any of it. Jerry G says, I agree, the war is wishful thinking by the deep state, and not just wishful thinking. Jerry says propaganda, exactly. Uncle Jalapeno says that CNN is the least trusted name in news. President Brandon will try to take credit for the stand down. Yeah, I don't doubt about that. After they tell him what to do. I mean, he'll have a conference and somebody will come in and say, Mr. President, you should take credit for this. Oh, you think so? Alma Madrano says the Q always uses the time on a watch. That's a good point, Alma. I didn't think about that. He very often does it. He shows pictures of a watch with a time on it. I don't think his prophecies of the time ever were as accurate, though, as Dana Coverstone's. JMJ says that Canada is on high alert. Let's see. The other son of Haman, Trudeau, will call martial law to invoke the Emergency Act. Yeah, he called the Emergency Act yesterday and nothing happened, so he's got to do something more. Rita says, could both the 2:15 and 11:15 be relevant? You're saying 11:15. That is possible, Rita. Yeah, that's very possible. In other words, 1 is another expression for 2, and 2:15. That would be November the 15th. That's an interesting point, Rita. I'll take that under consideration. JMJ says life is safer to live in Russia during the end times than the U.S. Well, I wouldn't say that. They're going to be destroyed too. The Antichrist brings down 3 nations. The 3 ribs in the bear's mouth are the first 3 beasts in Daniel: the lioness, the bear, and the leopard. So Russia, one of the ribs in the bear's mouth is Russia itself. The bear is told to devour much flesh. And those are the 3 nations that the Antichrist brings down. He brings them down so that he will rise to the top. Let's see. Jerry G says that Mary's messages in Medjugorje states the conversion of the world will come from Russia. Well, that's quite a ways down the road, unless by the fifth month of September, America starts to acknowledge Mary, and if by some chance Bishop Wilton Gregory does his job, which is that's a huge question mark. Okay, where are we here? I don't like to go over an hour for these programs. JMJ says Trump is our modern Moses. Yeah, that's his job. JMJ says the truckers are our Red Sea moment. Yeah, I was watching some of the truckers today. They don't seem to have backed down at all. May Samson says, Mr. Tablet, did you see Patrick Coffin said that Pope Francis is the anti-pope? One, I didn't see that. I think Sister Renee sent me that, and I got to look at that yet. That's another way to express it. The false prophet and the anti-pope are synonymous. So, well, I'm glad, I'm glad he's getting on board. He has a lot more audience than I have. Indiana is prayers for the truckers. Deborah B. was at Mass this morning. May says that Kim Clement was a man who warns us to convert. That's exactly right. Carolyn says, if the Protestants haven't asked for Mary's intercession in over 500 years, they won't do it now. Well, that's the whole idea of this prophecy coming true, of Dana's prophecy coming true to the letter. The whole prophecy is that if there's any Protestants that have an eighth of a brain, as my mother used to say, they can see that the prophecy came true, that the 2:15 is today, and that's exactly the day that Dana Coverstone said that there would not be a wall. He says no shooting, no missiles, no guns, remember? Maybe the Protestants will recognize that. I mean, a lot of them like Dana Coverstone, but I admit they don't watch my interpretation of it. So we can't force them, Carolyn. We can't force them. We can prepare our own refuges, and that's what we will do. Okay, Sam says, thank you for the decode. No problem, Sam. Okay, I think I'm going to let everybody read the rest of it. Let's close the program off now, so before we go to an hour. And don't forget, Sam Fisher on an hour from now. He will be on D-Live. He's no longer on YouTube because YouTube doesn't like the truth. They've taken away freedom of press, as you know. In fact, when Donald Trump gets his Truth Social, I expect to jump over there immediately. And then I can say the truth on here. Otherwise, I have to talk about bluebirds, butterflies, and bubblegum, as I've told all of you. That reminds me, I should give you my address, just in case there's new people on here, and there's always new people. William Tapley, Post Office Box, 2910 Osage, Iowa. Let me make sure you can see that. I have to kind of adjust my... Oh, my goodness, what happened now? Are we still on? I don't know if things are going to work out now or not. My screen just went crazy. I think I better stop right now. Before the devil interferes with this whole program. He could ruin the whole video if he wants to. So until I do see all of you again tomorrow, same time, same station. Well, let me put that right. Tomorrow morning I will be doing a live rosary at 10 a.m. This is how we are going to save ourselves. Whether Bishop Gregory saves and the Protestants can save this country or not, our job is not to do anything except to tell them. It's not our job to convince them. I hope they understand that. That's not our job. All our job is to sound the alarm. Until I do see all of you again, may God bless all of you. And may all of you have a very blessed evening.